Good morning students, welcome back to online classes of pulse and digital circuits. There was a big gap between your last class and these classes, ma'am. Due to some health issue I couldn't take the classes, and after that I was very busy with the final years also. So from now onwards we'll be continuing our classes. So in the last class of your PDC we have discussed about your step voltage. I hope you have all seen the video properly. So very first we have started with the low pass circuits. In this low pass circuit we have seen sinusoidal input. Along with the sinusoidal input we have also seen the step voltage, how your step voltage will be used, and then next we have also seen the rise time, which is defined as a time taken by the time taken, or it is by the voltage to rise from 0.1 to 0.9 value. It's a final value where you will be getting that one. So we have seen about the two steps, two input voltage. One is sinusoidal input voltage as well as step input voltage. So in today's class we are going to discuss about the pulse input voltage. What is actually a pulse input voltage? Okay, so the response to a pulse for times less than the pulse width, if you consider a pulse width t suffix p, is same as that of the step input voltage, which is given. I'll show. So I'll just make it zoom in. I'll show you the pulse. So this is what you are able to see is your pulse input. I hope everyone knows what is a pulse input. So this first part here, it is showing the pulse input, and it is a pulse in terms of steps. If it is a 1, you will be getting, or it is a time showing ones and zeros. If it is 1, it is a higher pulse. If it is minus or the negative terms, or it is 0 in terms of communication, then it will be given as your negative pulse. So pulse in terms of steps, and this is a normal pulse. So this is the figure of your actual pulse, right? So the pulse which is shown in the figure 1.5a, which I have shown normal pulse, is equivalent to the positive step followed and delayed by a negative step, which is given by the second figure which I have shown, a positive pulse or the negative pulse. So the response of the low pass RC circuit to a pulse for times less than the positive or the pulse with the TP is same as that of the step input, which is already given by the equation V0 of t is equals to V of 1 minus e to the power of minus t by RC. So this was the equation that we have got from the step input. So this is the output voltage equation of your step input. So what we are saying, that whenever the response of the low pass RC circuit of the pulse is time less than, your pulse width is less than, then your pulse the pulse step input as well as your step input will be same, and the equation will be given as V0 of t is equals to V of 1 minus e to the power of t divided by RC. So the response of the low pass RC circuit for the time constant RC greater than TP and the smaller than TP for the RC is very less when compared to the TP, which is I'll show in the next figures. So response of your low pass circuit, how we are considering the response of your low pass circuit is that RC should be greater than TP. For the when your RC is smaller than RC is greater than your TP, then RC is smaller than TP, then RC will be very small, and then compare that of your TP. So these responses are considered for the time constant when they are of your low pass circuit. So if the time constant RC of the circuit is very large, okay, at the end of the pulse the output voltage will be given as Vp of t is equals to V of 1 minus e to the power of minus t divided by RC. Okay, this will, and the output will be decreased to 0 from this value with the time constant RC. Okay, so whenever you are having this time constant RC, when time constant RC is greater than that of your pulse width, then the equation will be different and your waveforms will be different, and your constant, that is your RC time constant, is greater than that of your pulse width. At that point, the end of that particular pulse, the output will be given as Vp of t, that is equals to V of 1 minus e to the power of Ep to the power minus t divided by RC. This is the output voltage equation for your pulse input. When it is less than, when you are comparing this one, when your pulse width is less than when your pulse width is less than your TP, then your V naught, it will be similar to your step input voltage. When it is greater than that of your TP, your RC time constant is greater than that of your pulse width TP, then the equation will be changed, and that will be given as Vp of t is equals to V of 1 minus EP is nothing in terms of pulse input. So 1 minus e to the power of minus t divided by RC. This in terms of figure also we can see. The output will always extend beyond the pulse width TP, because whenever the charge has accumulated across the capacitor during the pulse cannot leak off instantaneously. So I'll repeat it once again. If the time constant RC of a circuit is very large, at the end of the pulse the output is given like this, okay, and the output will decrease to 0 from this value with a time constant of RC. We'll go to the figure 1.5, this one. Okay, see, this is the pulse when your RC is greater than of TP, so your output will be similarly equals to the time step input voltage, that is V naught of t is equals to V of e to the power of minus 1 minus e to the power of t minus RC. This is the input similar to that of your step input voltage. Here you will be getting the output when it is RC is greater than of t, and your new input at the end of that particular pulse. This is the end of the particular pulse. See here, we have seen, and output will be at the end of the particular pulse, the output will be given as Vp of t is equals to V of 1 minus e to the power of minus t by RC. See here, this one. Okay, 1 minus e to the power of minus TP divided by RC. This is the end of your particular pulse, which shows you the pulse response of your pulse input voltage, right? And this is the rise time, where you are getting the increasing the voltage, that should be increasing from 0.1 to 0.9 volts. So this is the rise time that you will be getting, okay, and this we will be getting where your time constant RC is less than your TP, and your RC is less than of TP, and this is how your output will be obtained. Okay, if our time constant is greater than your pulse width, this is the response of your pulse input that will be obtained. Here you will be getting V naught of t, and this is V naught of t in terms of pulse width. And if your RC is less than TP, this is the response that you will be getting, and if your RC is very much less than of your TP, then this is the response that you will be getting for your pulse input voltage. Fine. Now listen to this point, ma'am. What we are saying over here in this point, the output will always extend beyond the pulse width TP. Yes or no? This is the pulse width TP, or this is the pulse width of your pulse input voltage. So the output, whatever you are getting here, this output voltage is always beyond the pulse width TP. Yes. So because why we are getting this? Because whenever the charge has accumulated across the capacitor, means whenever the charge has been charged into the capacitor, during that pulse it cannot be leak off instantaneously, means during that if particular capacitor is used, so in that particular time or in this particular pulse width of time, it cannot be discharged instantaneously. So that's the reason what happens, the output will be extending beyond the pulse width of TP. Yes, I think you are clear. See, this output is beyond of your TP, the original pulse width. Why? Because the capacitor which is charged, it cannot be just discharged instantaneously. It takes some time to discharge. So that's the reason your output will be taking, it will be extending beyond the pulse width TP. So this is what the important point that you have to note it down. Now see, if the time constant RC of the circuit is very small, the capacitor charges and discharges very quickly, and the rise time TR will be also small. Okay, if you consider the rise time, your time constant RC is very small. So what happens, instantaneously your capacitor is charging also and discharging also, and this rise time will be there. No, this will also be very small. Immediately it will charge and discharge. Now in comes to the second condition, what happens? So there is no distortion in the wave shape, and it will be very small. For the minimum distortion, that is for the preservation of the wave, if you want to preserve your wave completely, the rise time must be small compared to that of your pulse width TP. Okay, the rise time should be small than comparator of your TP. So this should be small. If this is small, larger, or this is equal to that one, then you will be getting some distortion, and it will also be beyond that of your pulse width. Okay, I'll repeat it once again. See, if the time constant RC of the circuit is very small, here RC is less than of TP, then the capacitor will be charging and discharging instantaneously or very quickly, and the rise time will be small. This TR will be smaller than that of your TP, and no distortions will be there in the shape because it is also small. For the minimum distortions, the rise time should be small when compared to that of your TP. This one, rise time should be small when compared to that of your TP. So obviously you can see here TR is smaller than that of your TP over here. So if the upper 3 dB frequency is divided by 2 is chosen equal to the reciprocal of your pulse width TP. So what happens here, if you are considering that upper bandwidth or half of the upper bandwidth is chosen equals to the reciprocal of your pulse width TP, that is, if F2 is equals to 1 by TP, then TR is equals to 0.35 TP, and the output will be shown like this one, this part. So these are the conditions for getting the pulse in this particular shape, which can be used for many application and is reasonable reproduction of the input. So as a rule of thumb, we can say that this one, a pulse shape will be preserved in 3 dB frequency is approximately equal to the reciprocal of your pulse width. This is very important sentence that you have to note it down. What we are saying, that if the upper 3 dB frequency is chosen, which is equal to the reciprocal of your pulse width, then the condition for getting the proper pulse shape is that F2 should be equals to 1 by TP, and along with that one, your rise time should be equals to 0.35 of your TP. So 0.35 of TP, I will show in terms of figure. Where is your figure? See here, this part is 0.3, your TR is 0.3 times of your TP. If there is TP is equals to 1, then your TR is 0.35. It is the condition, and your F2 should be equals to 1 divided by TP. Okay, so this is the condition. So if you consider in terms of thumb rule, we can define this one as a pulse shape or the pulse input signal. A pulse shape will be preserved, your shape of your pulse will be preserved if your 3 dB frequency is approximately equals to the reciprocal of your pulse width. So this is the note that you have to note it down. So the shape of your pulse will be preserved, and that condition should be that the 3 dB frequency should be approximately equal to the reciprocal of your pulse width. Now thus to pass a 0.25 microsecond pulse reasonably well requires a circuit with an upper cutoff frequency of in order of 4 MHz. So this is the extra information that you have to keep in mind, but importantly you have to consider this one. And if you got the question, then you have to write all these equations, you have to draw the figure, what is the output value, you have to make it note. Okay, Vp of t is equals to V of 1 minus e to the power of minus t Tp divided by RC. This Tp is not separate, this is Tp over here. Here you will get only t. This is the your step response. This is because here it is a pulse response, we are considering it as Tp e to the power of minus Tp divided by RC. I hope you are clear with this one. Now the next input signal that you are having is your square wave input. Now we have seen your step pulse input, right? Now we are going to see your square wave input. The square wave is a periodic waveform. Of course, square wave is a periodic waveform which maintains itself at one constant level. Square wave, just imagine in your mind that what is a square wave and how it will be. So square wave is a periodic waveform which will be maintaining itself as only one constant level with respect to the ground for a time t1, and then changes abruptly to the another level v. Means first for one particular voltage level it is V dash, it will be constant. Then after some time with respect to time t1, then it will be changing abruptly to another voltage level that I have given it as V double dash, and remains constant at the level for the time t2 and repeats itself for the regular time intervals that is given as t is equals to t1 plus t2 and so on if you give the series. Okay. So the square wave, we'll repeat it once again. The square wave is a periodic waveform which will be maintaining itself to a one constant voltage level V dash with respect to the ground for a time t1. Then afterwards, after some time t1, then it will be abruptly changing its level, voltage level up to V double dash. After then it will be remaining constant at the level of time t2, and this cycle will be repeating up to number of time intervals that you have given. Depending upon your particular application or the time, you will be giving the time intervals. So it repeats itself at a regular intervals of time t, and that will be given it as t1 plus t2. A square wave may be treated as a series of positive and negative steps. Yes, for the pulse clock or something, you can consider, if you go on, then you can see that it will be series of positive and negative pulses. See here in this figure, you can see that these are the series of, if I consider this as a origin, it will be series of positive and negative pulses. Okay, positive pulses as well as the negative pulses for every particular time interval. For this time interval t1 here, it will be V1 dash. This is the voltage level, or you can consider as a amplitude level. At the t2 time interval, it will be taking the voltage level like this, V double dash, and again it will, this cycle will be repeating for particular number of time intervals that you have kept. So these are the series of positive and negative time intervals that will be given in your input voltage. So a square wave may be treated as a series of positive as well as the negative steps. The shape of the output waveform for a square wave input depends upon the time constant of the particular circuit. Whatever the time constant you are considering, depending upon that particular time constant, your square wave input will be dependent. If the time constant is very small, the rise time will also be small, and reasonable reproduction of your input may be obtained. This was the shape regarding for your square wave inputs. Right, so the shape of your output waveform will be dependent upon the time constant of your input circuit. So I'll just highlight this one. The square wave depends upon, please to make the notes which are the points I am highlighting over here. The shape of the output waveform for a square wave input, if you are giving the square wave as the input, so the output of that particular one will be depending upon the time constant of that particular circuit. If the time constant is very small, the rise time will also be very small. The rise time TR, what you have learned. Okay, and it will be reasonable reproduction of the input that may be obtained. Whatever the input you have given, that can be easily obtained if you are having this TR in small value. So for the square wave that I have, the figure I have shown is the output waveform. For the square wave as the shown, the output waveform will be given as 1.6 B that I'll show. So let's just see the figures of your square input. What are the four different kinds of condition that will be occurring? So here are the four conditions, and which shows the response of the RC low pass circuit of a square input. Okay, responses of the low pass RC circuit to a square wave input. So whenever you are giving a square wave as an input to a low pass RC circuit, so what are the different kinds of responses that you will be getting? So consider the first condition. This one A, if I have considered, it is a square wave input waveform that is consisting and it will be having the positive and negative peaks. Yes, positive waveforms as well as the negative waveforms is the time t1 when your first input voltage is given at the voltage V1 dash, and this is the second input voltage at the negative peak also you can consider at the time t2 with the voltage response of V double dash. Now what I am considering in the second condition, in this part, if the time constant RC of your circuit is small when compared to that of your periodic signal of your input square waveform. Okay, now what happens here, you are not having that much difference. Your signal is preserved in this pulse width only. Yes, so what is the second waveform that you are getting? First one is your square waveform. This is the input that you are giving to the low pass RC circuit. The output of the waveform when your RC is smaller than that of your TP. Okay, so the time constant RC is small when compared to the time period of your input square waveform. Okay, so the wave shape is here preserved, or I can also say it as RC is less than of your T. Correct. Now see the rise time over here, it is very small. TR is very small. Okay, and it is not that much exponentially going out from the pulse width what you have taken. Correct. So this is the first condition. Now second condition, that if you are considering the output waveform okay, if the input constant is comparable to that of your period of the input square waveform. Okay, comparable in the sense it is equals to, so RC is equals to T. If a second condition is RC is equals to T, here what happens, your output rises and falls exponentially. The output here will be rises and it will be falling exponentially. It will be beyond that of your peak. So here when RC is equals to T, your input as well as the output values will be, what happens, they will be falling or rising exponentially. Then the third one, last one, the fourth part, the third condition is that your RC is greater than of your T. Okay, if the time constant is larger or greater than that of your input voltage or the input square waveform, then the output consists of exponential sections or the exponential series which are essentially linear. Here they are exponential. It is exponentially rising and falling when your RC is equals to T. Here what happens, the output, it will be exponential. So the output consists of your exponential sections, that is which are exponentially linear. You will be getting the linear conditions. Those are the three conditions for your square wave is given as the input for your low pass RC circuit. So this is the input signal, square wave input we have given. When RC is less than T, this is what we can say, it is similar, or the output waveform is preserved in that particular pulse width itself. So when your RC is equals to T, the output waveform will be rising and falling exponentially here in this part. And when your RC is greater than of your T, then your the output will be rising or falling in exponential series. That is nothing but your essential linear series that will be falling or rising in linear parts. So this is about the figure or the like input, whatever the input you have given, what are the outputs that you are getting from the low pass RC circuit when square wave input is given. So for the third condition, if you consider here, make a small notes of this one. So it's an assignment for you people that you have to make a notes of this one, that I'll be checking after the vacations. So very first one, see, when figure first RC first one we have considered, that is nothing but the output waveform, that is nothing but the input which we have given as a square wave. Then in the second condition, the time constant RC is small when compared to your time period of your square wave input. Then what is the condition, like how they are, what is the thing that they will be getting, the shape will be preserved in that one. The wave shape is preserved. If the time constant is comparable, then what happens, it will be rising and falling exponentially, and the time constant is greater than of that one, then what happens, your output will consisting of the exponential series which will be essentially linear, which will be shown in the last figure which I have shown already. So the equation for your exponential, like rising and falling exponentially, the equation for that one will be given as, for the rising portion, V0 1 is equals to V1 dash minus V dash minus V dash minus V2 of e to the power of minus T by RC. Okay, this I have given. This V2 is nothing but the average voltage that we will be considering, overall average voltage, that is also given. Okay, so this is for the equation of the rise time, because in the second condition, what is there, RC is equals to T. If the time constant is comparable, then the output rises and falls exponentially. So for the rising portion, if you go to the figure, for the rising portion, the equation is given like this part. So this part here, you can see here, right, V0 of 1. So for this part, for the rising part of T, so rising part or the voltage of this rising part is given as the equation that I have told here. So V0 of 1 is equals to V dash minus V dash minus V2 of e to the power of minus T by RC, where V2 is the voltage across the capacitor at the time T is equals to 0, and V1 is the level which the capacitor can charge. This is the first voltage we have considering now, for first voltage T1 and for the second voltage T2, that we have set in the initial at the starting of this topic itself. So V2 is the voltage across the capacitor when at a time T is equals to 0, and V dash is the level at which capacitor can charge. And the equation for the falling portion, okay, this is for the rising portion and this is for the falling portion. So for the falling portion, V0 of 2 is equals to V double dash minus V double dash minus V1 into e to the power of minus t minus t1 divided by RC. Okay, now what was the time here? The capacitor voltage at the capacitor, we have said V1. This is the voltage at the capacitor, but here the time was t is equals to 0. Here now time is t is equals to t1. Now time has been increased. Go to your figure. See here, the time is increased over here. V naught here at the time t is equals to 0 we have considered. Now your time has been increased. T is equals to small t is equals to capital T. So that is the reason we have got this equation for the falling portion or the falling edge. This was for that equation. V1 dash was for the raising edge. This is for the falling edge. So the falling edge equation is given as V naught of t is equals to V double dash minus V double dash minus V1 into e to the power of minus t minus t1 divided by RC, where V1 is the voltage across the capacitor at the time t is equals to t1, and V double dash is the level of the voltage which the capacitor can discharge, because it is the falling edge. If you are having the raising edge, the capacitor will be charging over there. So your V naught of 1, we have to see the settings all over here, how we have got the expression and all for V1 and V2 value. Similarly, for substituting the value of V1 in the expression, then V1 value will be obtained as like this. V1 is equals to V dash of 1 minus e to the power of minus t divided by RC plus V double dash into 1 minus e to the power of minus t divided by RC into e to the power of minus t1 divided by RC whole divided by 1 minus e to the power of minus t1 plus t2 divided by RC. Similarly, you will be getting the expression for the V2 also, for the two different voltages that you have got here. So this is how you can get the expressions and the equations and the waveforms when your square wave input is given as the input for your low pass RC circuit. Okay, I hope you are clear with this one. So here the symmetric values for you have given for the inputs what you have considered. For a symmetrical square wave with a 0 average value, we have given some kind of equations when t1 is equals to tt is equals to t by 2 and v1 dash is equals to minus v double dash. So we have to substitute these equations in your voltages v1 and v2. Then you will be getting the expression that v2 is equals to minus v1 is equals to v divided by 2. Okay, 1 minus e to the power of minus t divided by 2 RC divided by 1 plus e to the power of minus t divided by 2 RC. With comparatively, if you solve, and then you will be getting the equation v divided by 2 1 minus e to the power of t divided by RC by 1 plus e to the power of t divided by 2 RC. So this will be an assignment for your PDC. After the vacation, I'll be seeing this one. These screenshots I'll be sharing with your people in the group itself. So do practice well. So it is an assignment for your people. You have to write the square wave input. That is the input for your low pass RC circuit. So you have to make notes. Obviously, you people have to make notes, running notes of all the topics that we have considered till now. Along with this one, as you people already know that we are having the vacation from 6th May to 16th May. So in that meantime, it's my request to all the students, you have to write an assignment of your square wave input topic, where you have to draw all the figures. Okay, square wave input and square wave input and the output of a low pass circuit, and we have given. Then what are the three conditions? RC greater than 3 and RC less than t and RC is equals to t. So these are the three waveforms how we have obtained, with explaining along with the theory you have to write, plus all the expressions of this one you have to write. So it's my it's my request to people, please do write the assignment, and I'll be checking this after the vacation. So I hope you are clear with these two topics of today, what we have discussed. One is the square wave input for the low pass RC circuit, and another one was your pulse input. So do practice well all the equations what you have studied. In the next class, we will be starting the next topic of your exponential as well as the ramp inputs. That are your low pass RC circuit for the exponential and the ramp inputs. So in case of any doubts regarding these topics, the last topics that we have discussed till now, please do let me know. Maintain the notes properly and give the attendance. Attendance is very important. Most of the students are not listening to the classes and directly they are giving the attendance to the Google form what faculty is giving. So all the faculty is making so much effort for making the videos, and along with you people we are also concentrating on the other classes like final years or third years. So it's our request from all the faculty that to please do watch the videos, practice the equations nicely, because you are having time now in the vacations, and do the assignments. Register in the online courses, certificates, you'll be getting certified there, and submit it to the department. And in case of any doubts, please do let us know, and write all the assignments. Along with that, maintain the running notes also. So for today's class, I'll wind up here itself. Thank you.